have always been so self-destructive. Now, I have no choice. I have to destroy myself so the real me can emerge.
Liv Morgan seems like she is headed for a complete character reboot as indicated from her recent video package. Morgan has been saying that she needs to destroy herself to completely rebuild, which is similar to what Bray Wyatt did before his Fiend reboot. While we don't expect Morgan's transformation to be nearly as dramatic or impactful as that, there is excitement for the new Morgan. She's been able to capture the imagination of many fans who have believed that she wasn't being utilized properly since the split from Ruby Riot's Riot Squad. However, Morgan can flourish as a solo act. However, where does the WWE Superstar actually come from? What has been her story which led to a career as a performer for the company? Well, this is Wrestling Hub, and today we will bring you another edition of Wrestling Origins. This one about the former pink-haired superstar Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was born Gianna Jean Daddio on June 8th of 1994 in Paramus, New Jersey, in the USA. She was raised in Elmwood Park, New Jersey. Morgan grew up with plenty of people around her, being one of 6 siblings. She has 4 older brothers and a sister. Morgan also had the misfortune to grow up fatherless, as her mother had to raise her and her 5 siblings alone. However, the siblings did form a strong bond and looked out for each other. The passing of my dad really took a toll on everyone, especially my brothers, she revealed to Byron Saxton on WWE.com. They didn't have that father figure anymore, and started constantly getting into trouble. I definitely believe I learned from all their mistakes, which I'm so grateful for. Morgan became a professional wrestling fan as a kid, and she grew up in the post-Attitude Era age of wrestling and often participated in backyard wrestling with her brothers and sisters. These matches ended up being one of the biggest indicators for Morgan to keep going down the path of pro wrestling. Morgan, in the same interview with Byron Saxton on WWE.com, spoke about how backyard wrestling impacted her. I would literally take pedigrees and powerbombs like it was my job. I always pretended to be Lita. All the divas were so glamorous and girly, and I was such a tomboy, and I didn't have nice clothes. When I saw Lita come out in baggy pants and sneakers, wrestling the boys, I thought she was the coolest thing ever. I related to her. Morgan is a former competitive cheerleader, which could be one of the reasons why she had such athleticism inside the ring. Before embarking on a career as a wrestler, Morgan worked and modeled for the restaurant chain Hooters. Morgan had been discovered at the Joe DeFranco's gym in Wyckoff, New Jersey. A trial was pushed for her backstage by none other than the smack talkers Skywalker Enzo Amore in 2014. Amore too is from the same area growing up in New York. Morgan debuted as Marley and didn't wrestle for a fair amount of time. She was essentially a human prop in a Tyler Breeze storyline to start her career, but eventually did have her first match on NXT TV. She signed with NXT in October of 2014 and got her first appearance on TV in February of 2015. Her first match coming in over a year after her signing, losing to Eva Marie on NXT in November of 2015. Morgan transitioned from Marley into her current persona as Liv Morgan in December of 2015. She also got her first opportunity of being a title contender in a battle royale in early 2016, but she'd be unsuccessful. Her first victory on NXT TV would come almost 2 years after her signing with the company in a 6-woman tag match, where her team of Carmella and Nikki Cross beat Alexa Bliss, Mandy Rose, and Daria Baronato. Her first singles victory on NXT TV came in August of 2016 as she beat Aaliyah and then Rachel Fazley in September of the same year. This got her a one-on-one title opportunity against the undefeated Asuka. She lost the match in under a minute though. After the Asuka loss, Morgan started a rivalry with the Iconics as Billie Kay and Peyton Royce confronted her after the loss. She would have a singles match against Billie Kay, but would be defeated by her after Royce interfered. Morgan responded by interfering in Kay's match against Aaliyah on the 26th of October. Morgan took out Peyton Royce, which caused enough of a distraction for Aaliyah to beat Kay. This feud would continue into November of 2016 when Morgan would face Peyton Royce in a match. Morgan was assisted by Aaliyah while Billie Kay came to support her partner Royce. The match would end in disqualification after Kay and Royce began attacking Morgan and Aaliyah until future NXT Women's Champion Ember Moon would come and make the save. Moon would later team up with Morgan and Aaliyah to later beat Kay, Royce, and Daria Baronato. Morgan's time on NXT would become fleeting after this feud would end. She stopped making appearances on NXT TV but continued wrestling on live shows. She even made some appearances on main roster house shows for Raw and SmackDown. This further indicated that Morgan's time in NXT was coming to an end, and she wrestled her last match for the Black and Yellow brand in September of 2017 against Vanessa Bourne, a match that she won. Morgan was soon promoted to the main roster along with Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan to form the Riot Squad on SmackDown. While Morgan had to wait almost 2 years into her career for her first win as a member of the NXT roster, the main roster seemed to be kinder to her, as she won in her debut. Her debut match took place in November of 2017, almost a year after a feud with the Iconics in NXT, where she with Logan and Riot beat 3 former women's champions in Charlotte, Natalya, and Naomi. Morgan would spend the rest of her 2017 making appearances on WWE TV but still wrestling house shows, in a bid to polish her in-ring skills for more matches on the main roster. While the Riot Squad were highlighted, it was obvious with WWE's treatment of the stable that they wouldn't necessarily be the biggest factors on TV. Ruby Riott did get better treatment, but Morgan and Logan were left playing the role of heel muscle. What wrestling has indicated in its years of existence is that heel muscle never really get the best booking treatment, although Morgan did make history by being one of 30 women to be a part of the first ever Women's Royal Rumble in WWE history. The Rumble was won by Asuka, as Morgan had been eliminated by returning legend Michelle McCool. After WrestleMania season elapsed, the Riot Squad got sent to Raw in the Superstar shakeup. This meant that Riott, Morgan, and Logan wouldn't be SmackDown competitors, trading them from the blue brand to the red brand. They made a big impact in their debut, interfering in a match and causing a no contest between Sasha Banks and Bayley on April 16th of 2018. The next week, she picked up her first win on Raw in a 10-woman tag match, which saw her Riot Squad teammates also be joined by Alexa Bliss and Mickie James against Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natalya, and Ember Moon. The Riot Squad would become solid mid-card acts on Raw, not being in any highlighted storyline for most of 2018. Over the month of July, Ember Moon made it a regular habit of beating Liv. The month would end with another loss for Morgan, and this time in a tag team match against Bayley and Sasha Banks. Morgan would make headlines after the 24th of September edition of Raw, by no fault of her own though. While the Bella Twins Nikki and Brie were trying to make good on an in-ring comeback, they were booked in a 6-woman tag team match with Natalya against all 3 members of the Riot Squad. Brie Bella, who was using a lot of moves from her husband Daniel Bryan, was inflicting the yes kicks upon Morgan. However, Bella completely mistimed 2 of her kicks, connecting clean with Morgan's head and knocking her out. Morgan tried to finish the match, but had to be removed on account of suffering a concussion. She would wrestle 2 weeks later at the Super Showdown in Australia in a loss to the Bellas and Ronda Rousey. The match where she got knocked out by Brie Bella was the last match Morgan was booked to come out as a winner, losing every single match she wrestled for all of 2018. Morgan has only won a single wrestling match on WWE TV since that, which was a tag team win over Dana Brooke and Natalya on January 28th of 2019 on Raw, and that's her last win on TV. Morgan was part of more women's history, as she was one of the many competitors in the inaugural Women's Tag Team Championship elimination match. The match was won by Bayley and Sasha Banks. Morgan competed alongside Sarah Logan, and they were eliminated by Nia Jax and Tamina. In the 2019 WWE Superstar shakeup, Morgan was separated from the Riot Squad, being sent back to SmackDown as a singles competitor. Even before she had been separated with her team, she had been taking on the likes of Becky Lynch and Natalya in losing singles efforts on Raw. Her last match on WWE TV came after the shakeup and was on SmackDown. She would lose to Charlotte in that match in April of 2019. Morgan was drafted to Raw in the WWE draft that took place in October after SmackDown moved to Fox. She has yet to emerge on the brand, but there have been vignettes hyping her upcoming debut. While there are signs that indicate a possible Emelina type situation for her, we feel comfortable in saying that WWE would not repeat the same mistake from that gimmick upon Morgan. But it is WWE we're talking about. While we've covered the past, there are certain opinions that we have on the future. Morgan seems like a person who has heaps of personality and charisma, which could show if she was allowed to be herself. In her interviews, we can see that she does have a likable and fun personality. Her pink hair and indulgence in hip-hop culture through her in-ring attires also show that there is probably a market that WWE could exploit through promoting her. We can never expect Morgan to have the same in-ring finesse that Charlotte has, but that doesn't mean that she can't hold the fort between the ropes. While her development was slow, Morgan is a fairly serviceable wrestler that can only improve. She's still 25 and has a lot of time. From what we can see, WWE will be trying to keep Morgan as a valuable commodity, considering all the room she has to grow and become a better wrestler. Morgan has been in the WWE system for 5 years and can serve as an example of how hard work can help someone actually rise through the rankings even without having the machine behind her. She didn't come in as a prized recruit, she got a tryout because another NXT wrestler recommended her for it. Her journey from being fatherless to becoming a top WWE superstar is inspiring, and her journey could also serve as a blueprint to other unheralded prospects that enter the WWE system and want upward mobility in the company.
It's up to me to decide who I am. 'cause I'm anything but typical.
And this was Wrestling Origins Liv Morgan. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later in the next video.